Question 5, part A. Complete the table of values for y equals x squared minus x minus 6. You can see the table here and 2 have been put in. Now, I would advise you, with the 2 that have been put in, check you get the same answer. So if you put minus 3 into this equation, do you get 6 out before you start filling any of your own in, so you know you're doing it the right way. This is easiest with a calculator, and because of the number of negatives, it's really important to use brackets. So I'm just going to check this one here. So minus 3, close the bracket, all squared. Then I've got a take away, a subtract, minus 3. Now that's where a lot of people will go wrong. Okay, so you've got the take minus 3, take away 6, and it gets an answer 6. Yep, so I'm confident I'm going to get the right answer. If you're confident with your calculator, you can use the arrow keys here if you've got them, and then just change the minus 3s to minus 2s. But make sure you change all of them. And the next one is 0, so I'll put a 0 in. If x is minus 1, then y is minus 4. I'm just going to check again that 0 gives me minus 6. And in fact, you could probably do this in your head if you think 0 squared minus 0. I don't need that second minus sign now. That's going to be minus 6. So yeah, I still feel like I'm doing it correct. Then x is 1. Oh, and now that I have 2 answers in correctly, I have one of the 2 marks. Okay, if x is 1, and y is minus 6. If x is 2, y is minus 4. And last but not least, if x is 3, then y is 0. And because they're all correct, I've got 2 marks. Moving on to part B. Part B, on the grid, draw the graph of y equals x squared minus x minus 6 for values of x from minus 3 to 3. Obviously, you can see your original table of values you've just filled in. I've just copied mine here for reasons of space. So we have to start plotting. Negative 3, 6, 4, 5, 6. That will go there. Negative 2, 0. And this is one of those questions it's worth taking the time, negative 1 minus 4, to make sure you don't make any errors. 0 minus 6, 1 minus 6, 2 minus 4, and 3, 0. Plotting 5 of these points correctly picks you up 1 mark. If you had worked out one of these numbers incorrectly, but then plotted it correctly, you would still get 1 of the 2 marks. The second mark is for joining this up. You don't use a ruler, you do it freehand. Going point to point. And you need to know here, it's not a straight line across, it is a curved bottom. And you end up with a freehand curve going through all the points with a curve at the bottom, and you've got the second mark. Part C, use your graph to find estimates of the solutions to the equation x squared minus x minus 6 equals minus 2. I've just copied the question over from the next page because you're going to need to use the graph and it's easier than scrolling up and down. So this question is saying, use your graph, so here's my graph. When does this combination of x's, when does this function of x squared, squaring x, taking it and then taking 6, when does that equal minus 2? Normally we have a y here, which stands for this y-axis, and we're only interested now in the times that it hits minus 2. Now you should use a ruler for this. But we come to minus 2 on the y-axis and draw a horizontal line across. And I could even label that y equals minus 2. Drawing that line picks you up one of the 2 marks. The other mark is for realizing the 2 answers are where the 2 lines intersect. So there's one there. And there's one there. So the 2x values are minus 1.5. It is a bit of an estimate. And even the question accept is going to be an estimate. And, because there's 2 answers, 2.7. There are a range of values you can put to get full marks. You are guaranteed to get it correct if for this blue horizontal line here and these lines here, you use a ruler.